Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hattrick's Unofficial Flyers podcast. I'm Rick Mullen. I'll be your host today. Today was a huge day in the NHL. It was the 2026 trade deadline. It ended today at 3 p.m. And leading up to the trade deadline, just like every other Flyer fan or hockey fan, there was a lot of rumors out there. We were all excited. We're watching podcasts. We're listening to podcasts. We're actually reading articles, doing some research, trying to figure out what's going on. And in all honesty, just like every other trade deadline for the Flyers for a while now, it was a little lackluster. Some moves were made, nothing huge. Maybe one that was, could be some potential, but what we kind of expected to happen with Ristolainen did not happen today. So let's talk about what happened and then go from there. So Nick Delorier was actually traded today for a 7th-round conditional pick with the Carolina Hurricanes. Nick was a fantastic Flyer. He never complained. He was a heck of a locker room guy, well respected within this organization. And every time he did play, he put it all on the line. He fought. He did everything he could to do as much as he could for the Flyers while he was here. So I wish Nick nothing but success moving forward, and unless he plays the Flyers, right? The other trade that we actually did was Bobby Brink. Bobby Brink was moved to the Minnesota Wild. So he's going back home for a David Jiricek. David Jiricek was a 2023 draft pick, I believe. He's a big right-handed defenseman. He's got some size. He has a heck of a good shot, but what's going on with him? Like, this is the second team that let him go. He was drafted by the Columbus Blue Jackets. They weren't quite happy, I think, with his footwork. He went out to Minnesota, and Minnesota really didn't play him much. He actually played more in the minor league. And, there's some things being said about him, that his footwork weren't too great. He didn't skate real well. Some people said he can skate forward very nicely, quickly, make some moves. He's good with the puck. Big shot, big booming shot, but he makes bad decisions and he skates a little slower going backwards, which is really important if you're a defender, right? You got to skate backwards. So, not sure how this one's going to play out. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of looked at like we actually missed out on him when we drafted Cutter. And right after we drafted Cutter, Columbus had drafted David Jiricek. So we could have had him. We chose not to. Danny Briere came on today and spoke about him, and he thinks he had interest in him back then. He had interest in him last year. He did say that he's sort of a reclamation project, that he's going to spend some time down with the Phantoms for a while. He's going to learn a little bit down there, maybe the organization, how we expect him to play. He's going to get a bunch of reps. And then, he might be given a couple of chances to come up and actually see what he has for the Flyers. So, he did say that he's got a big booming shot. I think he, if you look at some of his videos, go out and Google some of his highlight videos, he does have a shot. He does put the puck on net. A lot of his pucks that are getting put on net are usually tipped in by a teammate. We don't really have a lot of that getting through right now. I mean, Jamie can move really well, but a lot of his shots, like if he takes something with someone in front of him, he usually hits it, so he's trying to run around and find that opening. And sometimes when he finds the opening and he's got that 1 second to shoot, he doesn't, so he ends up holding it and passing it and moving the puck around some more. So I'm hoping over the years, David Jiricek has a lot of upside here. He could absolutely be a diamond in the rough. I'm hoping with some reps, some change of scenery here, some time given to him, that they'll be able to bring the better part of his game out and actually fix the part that he was struggling with. So I'm anxious to see it. He's I think he's 22, 23 years old. He's a right-handed defenseman, a big right-handed defenseman. That puts 3 big right-handed defensemen on this team. So it's kind of exciting to see. You have Bunk, you have him, and you have Risto. I think even Jamie Drysdale, right? I think he's a right-hander, a little smaller. But we have a really good plethora of right-handed D-man that, in the future, maybe we can use your trade bait because everybody wants to try to overpay for a good right-handed defenseman. So excited to see him. Hopefully he gets some time and we can get him into a couple games here. I know in Danny's presser today, he had talked about Brink. Brink was a really good player for us with the Flyers. Danny said that it was more of a numbers game. Someone had to go. There's too many people here. There's too many wingers here that needed room, and unfortunately, and it was hard to do. They chose to move Brink, which we talked about yesterday on our episode. So I totally agree. Brink had to go. He was the odd man out, but really, really like Brink. I think Brink came a long way. I think the Wild's getting a player. Hopefully they understand that I think he's a really, really good third liner who can step up on the second line from time to time if needed. I think their fans, when I was looking through some of the websites, the fans were unsure what they were getting. And, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised once he gets out there and he gets to show them what he's got. I do believe Brink is trying to get out to Las Vegas tonight from what I saw. He really wanted to play tonight, at least from the clip I heard. He was trying to jump on a plane and get out there and see if he can make the game tonight. I think it's at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to anxiously try to see if he is in the lineup, and I'll watch that game. Brink, best of luck. Really, I feel like you really developed well for us, and it's hard to see somebody we developed and fits a perfect third line, intense, fast, forechecking player get moved off our team. So good luck, Bobby, and wish you all the luck. Ristolainen, man, he made another cut. He is going nowhere from what we're being told. There were teams interested in him. How many wasn't really said. It's all speculation. Danny Briere said that the media blew up their Ristolainen information online. So he kind of made it feel like there was so much drama in there, so many teams and this and that, the other thing, that really much of it wasn't true. So we don't really know. When asked about, what he was receiving for offers for Risto, Danny respectfully declined. He said it wasn't something he wanted to share. And that's understandable. It's okay. But what it comes down to is Risto was not moved. The Flyers and Danny Briere decided that what they were offered wasn't really good enough for what they had. And I did go over this yesterday when we discussed this possible trade of Risto, that Risto is on a really good friendly contract. He's got a lot of things this team actually needs. He's a right-handed defenseman. He bangs. He's playing really well. He's able to cover ice. He's taking open ice. He's getting the puck to the net. He's actually driving the net sometimes with the puck. So does it hurt us not moving him at the trade deadline? I know a lot of people are out there complaining and saying that they're not happy with it, that, they think that Danny Briere and Jonesy were incompetent and he should have been moved. I think it's a little hard, and I do understand it, because eventually I want him moved as well, after his contract's over here. But, if we're just giving him away for nothing, right, what's the point in that? And yes, we don't know what was offered. We have no idea. Okay, but there's been a lot of speculation out there that, these GMs were nervous that with his injury history, and I'm thinking they were trying to play a little hardball with Danny, and Danny said no. We're just going to keep him. So I'm hoping we can get through this year. We get into the off season, and they revisit Risto in the off season to move him then, and go from there. So moving forward, I think I'm pretty excited. You know what I mean? And again, some people won't be, but I am. I don't have any expectations for the Flyers. I don't expect them to win every game. Would be fantastic if they went on a tear and went to the playoffs, but I'm not expecting that. And what I'm looking forward to is just seeing Bump, Juracek, Martone get here. Let's just see some games. Let's see how they play. Let's see how they gel. Let's see how they think. Let's see how they move on the ice. That to me right now is really where I'm focusing my attention, because that's what we have to do. In reality, there's no way to the cup here. There's no way to really a playoff unless they go and tear it up and are undefeated for a while. And I don't think that's going to happen, so take advantage of the situation, stay calm, watch these kids grow, see what they can do, and have some faith that there's going to be some moves in the offseason. So with that said, that's all I have for the trade deadline special here. I wish all our ex-Flyers, Nick and Bobby, nothing but success, and I'm excited to see what David Urachek brings to this team, and hopefully the change of scenery does him well. Until next time, hopefully next week we'll get another episode out. Take care, and thanks for joining us today.